Hi guys, it's Jody from An Eye for Beauty, and today is Sunday, August 13th, 2023. And this is our weekly message. So we are going to pull 3 cards today, and I am going to pull them differently. So if you have been watching these videos weekly, you're going to see a little bit of a different approach to how I pull the cards for this week, testing it out, seeing how it goes. And if you are new listening to the video for the first time, welcome in, and I hope that you receive something that resonates with you. So the way that I'm going to do it today, the cards are pre-shuffled, but I'm going to lay cards out, and that's why I'm a little further away from the camera, and I'm going to pull them by actually splitting the deck. So we're going to start with our first card, which is card number 1, and it's this card here. And then I'm going to shuffle again. Hold on. And we're going to pull our second card, which is this card. I'm going to put it down. And then we are going to pull our third card. And it is going to be this card. Okay. Now we have a card out here, so I want to use that card as well. And I guess I got to use that card as well too. So we have 5 cards out, but the top 2 cards, the last 2 that came out, are truly just additional messages. I would love for you guys to be able, oh, you know what? Let me bring them closer to me. Perfect. Okay. So we have our 3 cards. Card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. Okay. We have 2 messages here, which are the main messages. So we're talking about the energies of this week, August 13th, 2023. Of course, whenever it is that you hear this message, that is when it is meant for you. And on August 23rd, we have another Mercury retrograde coming up. So potentially right now we are in the shadow, and it's in the sign of Virgo. So it's in an earth sign. So I'm just mentioning that to you. You can do all the research that you would like to do with regard to Mercury retrograde, but just keep that in the back of your head that it is coming up. And so a lot of times you're going to see a pause, and maybe some of you have been feeling like you've been paused for way too long. You've been in like a holding pattern for a long time. But what I want to say to you is that a lot of times what we don't realize is that we need to be in the holding pattern, in the pattern of just, you know, really going within. Is what the goal is when you're in this holding pattern, is to truly tune in, become more self-aware, become more aware of what is going on as an observer around you, and allow whatever you are receiving in a healing sense or in messages or in information to integrate into your inner self so that you can move forward. We live in a society, I feel like a broken record, but it comes up too many times, that we live in this society where we have been taught that if you are not doing something, you are not succeeding. And I want you to know that if you are being a certain way and it is feeling like inside of you that that is the way you are supposed to be, and you might just be a guide to other people in your life, or you might just be a rock, or you might just be helping, or you might just be serving. But that is being who you are meant to be. And when you take the time to actually go inward and tune inward, or just be with yourself, sometimes God makes us have to do that by getting us sick. For example, sometimes you're just constantly going, and then all of a sudden you get sick and you're like, where did this come from? Well, it's actually a blessing in disguise, because God is hoping that you are going to stay put so that you could go inward, so that you could tune in, so that you could learn, integrate whatever needs to be integrated, or just be with yourself. So the first 2 cards, and you saw the one that flipped over, we're going to talk about that one first, is mental conflict. So there are so many people in our world right now in conflict, and it's most likely mental conflict. And we can sit here and blame many things. And one of those things is the last few years of being in a lockdown position. And you probably never experienced that in your lifetime. And it probably affected you mentally. It probably affected you emotionally. And it probably affected you physically. But it's time for us to learn how to rebuild our foundation. And part of rebuilding that foundation is by getting ourselves grounded. Grounded in the earth. And what I mean by that is finding the things that make you feel secure, that make you feel stable, that make you feel successful. A lot of S words are coming in right now. And so if you're in the head all the time, you're not rooted into the earth, and you're staying in the energy of the head, you're not going to feel firm. You're not going to feel rooted. You're not going to feel supported. So if you're in this place right now where there's a lot going on internally in the mental, I want you to observe what's coming up. This is a video that's going to be 15 minutes. I can't give you all the answers. And if you're having a hard time, you should definitely tune into receiving therapy. But if you're here, but you're not feeling this foundational, stable foundation, I want you to begin to find ways in which to feel more grounded, feel more safe where you are. And a lot of times that has to do with tuning out of the head and tuning into the earth stuff, the earthly things, the things that you do every single day. And I was listening to something recently, and she was explaining how when you get in the mind space, a good exercise to do is for a distraction. Let's say write about something that is exciting to you, and you're putting all of your mental into writing. And what's happening when you do that is you actually center yourself, because you're so focused on that you get out of the conflict. And so maybe find an observation, being the witness of what you are experiencing, find out why or when the mental conflict occurs, because that could also help you to feel into how to help yourself as well. Now, the first card, if you chose card number 1, continues into the crown chakra, which is where the mental conflict is basically going to be. So it's important for us to tune inward, because when we tune inward, so I'm going to tell you guys, the other day I was having a panic attack. It was minor, but it was a panic attack. And so I know what this feels like. So I was in my head with a lot of thoughts. And a lot of times panic, anxiety, when it comes up, it's because you are focusing on the future. What if this happens? And that is not serving anybody. So it's about noticing that it's happening and then rewording what is going on in the conflict, what is going on in the chatter. So what if, I don't know, what if I don't have a house to live in anymore? What if I do have a house? Why am I going into that space? So it's important for you to determine what is going on in that conflict and rewrite the script. Because your whole entire physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional body is energy. And it is reacting to the conflict that is going on in the crown, in the mental conflict. And what we want to do is get balanced. And one of the other things that I did was I did breathing. And so what I did was I inhaled for the count of 4, I held for the count of 7, and then I slowly exhaled for the count of 8. And I did that for 10 times. And that also calmed the nervous system as well. Because in the end, why the panic came up was because I was in my head. Because I was in all the mental thought chatter about things that were going on in the moment, in my life at that time. Instead of coming back to all of these tools that I know, sometimes it just creeps up and you don't even realize you're doing it in the mental body. So be the observer. And you know what else is key? Is doing more meditation when you find yourself in mental conflict. Sitting quietly more. It really helps, because when you connect the crown chakra and that cord connecting up into the heavens. And I also did, for me, I did Our Fathers, I did Hail Marys, but you have to find what works for you. So if you chose card number 1, I really want you guys to start to be the observer and notice what is going on in the mental space. It's very important. And I also journaled. So what I did was I got out what was going on in here, out on paper, and that also helped as well. Also, when you're going through that, another thing that I found was I had to stop caffeine. So if you are having caffeine, and I only drink a half a cup a day, but it was too much for me. You have to learn your body. You have to become fully aware of what goes on with your physical body, because your physical body is not like anybody else's physical body. And the only way you're going to know is if you really begin to tune into it daily and become more and more self-aware each and every day. All right, so that's the first one. This card reading is kind of for me, actually, so it's for all of us, I guess, are going through this right now. And the second one is suffering in silence upside down. There is no reason to suffer in silence, but if you chose card number 2, you must be, something must really be bothering you. Talk to someone, talk to a friend, talk to a professional, talk to a family member, talk to someone, because that is going to help you to get out of the mental conflict. I was talking to a friend last night and I said something, just saying something regular that I didn't even realize, and she said, "I can't believe you said that. I feel the same exact way." I would have never known she felt that way. If I didn't say it, she wouldn't have shared it, and she was suffering in silence. And by whatever I shared with her, it helped her. So I want you to, if you are someone that chose card number 2, know that you are not alone. Know that you are safe, and know that you are protected. Here's another thing that is coming up for us, is that it's important to call in the protection. So the latest way that I have been calling in the protection, you can call in Archangel Michael and put the bubble and the shield around you, always, all the time, every day, wherever you want to send it. But what I have also been doing is calling in the angels in 4 directions, which is the top 4 archangels that I work with: Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel. And Michael is on the right holding my hand, Uriel is on the left holding my hand, and then I have Raphael in the back kind of pushing me along, and Gabriel is in the front. And that helps me to feel like I am even more protected, because I know that they're all around me. You can even have Metatron on top and Sandalphon on the bottom, and they were brothers and actually walked this earth. Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon at a point in the earth's lifetime. So I love having them all around me, and you are being invited to do so. Know that you are not alone, and find people that can support you. Surround yourself with those people that align with you, that support you, that connect to you, and that can make you feel safe and protected when you're going through something that is very overwhelming. And that's card number 2. But our card number 3 is talking about solitude. And I already talked about this in the beginning, so I'm just going to reiterate the one piece that I want you to know that is super important, is that when you sit quietly and you take the time daily to recharge by going inward, by being alone, you gain wisdom. She's holding a book here. And see here this connection. The connection to the crown clears the mental space. And by you going inward, you're allowing whatever wisdom you're learning to integrate into your physical body. The more that you allow that to integrate, the more that you expand outward. And you probably cannot see the aura, but it doesn't matter, because I want you to know that you are gaining more information and the aura is expanding outward. The third eye is also expanding, and the heart chakra is opening up. So that's why it's important to protect your energy, because you are more open and more sensitive to receiving anything that's coming at you. This is a heavy week, and I just invite you to call in that protection and know that you're safe, and find a trusted source if you need to help and support you. I wish you guys a great day. Bye-bye.